asses up. You didn't see that coming on me.
No, I did not see that coming.
I had it on the side over here. I didn't want to reveal. It's your favorite TIO Al Cintron. Welcome to the latest episode of TIO Al Friends. And today, it's just one of my friends, and that's Pete Kennedy. But before I get to Pete, I want to say happy birthday to Anthony Gallo's pops. Have fun at Sapphires, wherever you're taking your fun at. But just, make sure you give him enough singles. Have a good time. But let me take this off. And shout out to Boomer and Gio. Real deal. Means a lot to me to get this, and it's going to be even better when I have Fanatics Fan Fest and Jaden Daniels signs his bits. So it's going to be all good in June. I'll pay the $250 because right now the helmet sign is like $1,300 on Fanatics. What's going on, Pete?
Yo, I did not see that coming at all. You also sounded like you were in outer space inside that helmet.
Yeah, but it feels weird. It's a real deal helmet. And when I play PB football for the Ridgedale Brewers, shout out to the Ridgedale Brewers in Queens, it didn't feel like this. It's the same company helmet and everything. It feels weird, this helmet.
Well, you can pull it off. What position did you play back in the day, Al? Back in the day, what were you doing? Well, I see you out there playing safety, laying hits out there, laying wood.
No, I mean, I was 12 years old. I was like 66 pounds, so I was on the bench. But when I did get in, I played like I have right now, a tight end, and I played some safety. But when you're playing PB football, it's a lot of running, because there's not a lot of throwing. But we lost in a championship to a bunch of 18-year-olds. Illegal, ringers, and we had some ringers on our team too. We played in John Adams football field championship.
12 type stuff from Ben.
Yeah, no, I am 12, but my man had a full blown goatee and beard and the whole 9 yards. Man, it was. I'm like, this dude is not 12 years old. Get the fuck out of here.
Unreal. Now it's great though. We got this weird week of sports finally over, where the NBA All-Star break, which was, obviously we'll talk about that probably a little bit later, wasn't the most exciting. But we have this Four Nations thing, which kind of sparked some conversations, which is fun. But at least we got real hoops back. We're that much closer to baseball. So Al, it feels like we're getting back to the real sports life that we long for.
Yeah, it sucks with no football. Football's done. You get used to it. Every game means something. Every Sunday, even college football on Saturdays. But we have some sports to talk about. Spring training is here. I know the Mets get started playing games this weekend. And as usual, of course, we're Met fans, so we're going to start with the Mets. Don't worry, Yankee fans. We have some stuff too. So trust me, I'm not bullshitting you. We have some Yankee stuff. But we're going to start with the Mets. I just wanted to mention, doesn't Juan Soto look so happy? So happy, like he's having fun. He's not involved with the corporate Yankees anymore. He's having fun with Marte, having fun with Mauricio, Acuna, Lindor, even Pete. And good thing Pete's okay. He had a scare in spring training today, but he's okay. When I saw he stumbled or something like that, I thought he was running the bases. And we all know about Pete running around third base. It's a little dicey. But how did watching all the videos that have come out so far at Mets camp and the vibes, does this look like a team that's loosey-goosey and ready to go try to win a championship and not looking like a bunch of tight asses?
Oh, man, this team does look like it has what it takes. It's just like, in order to feel it, we have to see it. And the spring training stuff, especially before they're even playing games and taking real at-bats, I'm never buying into it. And I think there's a really important reason for that. And it's because you can't get too high or too low, Al. You have to either, you have to take it down the middle, because if you get too excited watching, let's say Francisco Alvarez hits 4 or 5 home runs in the first week and a half of spring training. Oh my God, this guy's about to take off this year. Oh my, and then all of a sudden he doesn't hit a home run for the first month of the regular season and you freak out. So you can't get too high on these guys with a good spring training, and you really can't get too low, because you hear about somebody who has a bad spring training, they come out and they bat 300 off the bat regular season. It's a different world. You have to get excited, but not too excited. So I'm never going to change my expectation outside of injury from what I'm seeing in spring training.
Well, speaking of injuries, and by the way, we'll do the Met Yankee win total during the show as well at each segment. So at the end of our Met segment, we'll do our win total for the Mets. I'm actually going to do it on the fan. I did it last year. Rocco from Saratoga hit the number on the head, 89. So shout out to Rocco. He's going to call on this weekend as well to give his numbers. And I'm going to have Met Yankee fans give their totals on my show after Nets pregame, Nets postgame this Saturday night. So injuries, Frankie Montas, surprise, surprise, is hurt. He's going to be out for a while. It's going to be, when he's ready to go, then they have to ramp him up, spring training, blah, 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 blah. Jose Quintana is the perfect guy to bring back into that role. What are your thoughts on Quintana? being brought back into the fold, and Frankie Montas starting the season injured.
Jose Quintana, I feel like we got all the juice out of that squeeze last year, but in a world where Montas is now going to be out for who knows how long, it does feel like a good enough stopgap. And I hate to say good enough as like a thing that we should be doing, that we should be striving for as a fan base here. But with where this pitching staff is at right now, where this starting rotation currently stands, that's all it ever could be, really. Like the upside of this pitching staff is not going to be fantastic. It's not going to be great. You're kind of rooting for good enough. And as like a fifth starter, if he's able to come back into the fold, that's good enough. So yeah, I'm for it. Wouldn't make me excited. I wouldn't get jacked up. I wouldn't start tweeting about it, changing the outlook of the Mets season. But sure, it could be something that is a positive for now.
And you got Brandon Sproul, who's down there in precedent spring training. I know Matt Allen's starting to throw again. He's back from injury, which is a good thing. You can never have enough young pitching. It's just, listen, I don't care about the hat. It was a big thing about the hat this week on fan, and fans were questioning the hat, mocking the hat. I don't give a fuck if they had a big, giant orange turd on the front of the hat. And with NY, I really don't care, although that would look better in a navy blue Yankee turd, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, I don't care. As long as you go out and win games. And this Met team, I'm not going to doubt. I've been saying it for a while now. A lot of us have. I'm not going to doubt David Stearns. I'm not going to question him. Everything last year he touched for the most part was gold. And if he didn't produce, your ass was out of here. So for me, this Met team, I know certain people are down on them. Mike in Brooklyn, he hates the pitch. He hates the pitching lab. I know he's watching. Shout out, Mike. It's unless I see otherwise, I'm going to keep believing in what David Stearns is doing. Now, with the thing with Steve Cohen this week. He came out and said that the thing about the attendance, and I 100% agree with him about the attendance. In 2022, I called out the attendance for the playoff games. I took pictures and posted them. Met fans forever said they want meaningful games. Well, guess what? You were in the playoffs, and he didn't show up for game 1. You showed up for DeGrom, but there were still empty seats. And in game 3, do or die, you motherfuckers didn't show up. There's pictures of empty seats in left field, empty seats in right field that I've posted, and tickets were less than $100 to get in the building. And baseball, to be honest, is the cheapest sport to go to. Football is expensive. Basketball is expensive. Hockey, a Ranger game, forget it. Forget about it. Baseball, baseball is the cheapest to go to. Now, I understand times are rough. Prices are up. Eggs are up. Everything's up. I get it. But for the people that can complain, but that can go to games, and you want this guy to get this player and sign that player, well, guess what? If you don't get the revenue and Steve Cohen finishes again 18th in attendance, there's no shot at him going crazy on the payroll. I still think Vladdy will be a Met. We'll get into that later as well. I still think he'll be a Met, even though he likes the post about him in a Yankee jersey. But for me, Steve Cohen is right when it comes to calling out the fans. You want me to spend, you call me out. Well, guess what? I've spent my own money. Now you guys need to show up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's what it comes down to. And Mets fans talk a big game, and we've never talked a bigger game than we've talked right now. I'm not saying like you and I specifically, but Al, I probably could throw you into that ring of talking the smack, right? You've been out here standing on business since last year, talking about Juan Soto wants to become a Met. All that came true. I saw you take a mini victory lap on Twitter today. And
that's right.
You deserve it. I was one who was not as confident in that regard. And, Mets fans should be taking this and talking their smack, talking their business to the Yankee fans, saying, hey, we're here. Let's compete this year. This is going to be fun, because we do know deep down, even if Met fans don't want to admit it, that the Yankees are just as good still, right? So there's a lot to be proven for the Mets to actually get over that hump. But if Met fans aren't showing up, then what are we talking about? You know what I mean? And I'm not a guy who goes to a ton of games, but for all the Mets fans who talk the big game, and I know you show up out there in the stadium when you can, it's time. This is the year. If there's ever a year to go all in on your fandom, is this year. It's exactly how I felt with the New York Knicks coming into this year. All my friends who are like fringe basketball fans, fringe Knicks fans, I'm like, yo, if you want to have fun and get into basketball, start watching the Knicks. It's the same exact thing with the Mets right now.
I think the Mets this season will finish top 5 in attendance. If they don't, it's going to be terribly disappointed. I believe there's only 5 teams that finished with 3 million in attendance. 5 teams that have done it: the Dodgers, the Yankees, I want to say the Padres, the Phillies, and the Braves. Those are the 5 teams that have showed up that had over 3 million in attendance. Remember back in the day, the Yankees used to do 4 million plus. Like, I understand some people would rather sit home and watch the games. I get it. But as a starving fan base that has been the joke around these parts for so long, and now you finally get one over on the quote-unquote big brothers, the former evil empire, the Yankees. You get Juan Soto. Juan Soto's here. There's no excuse. Show up. And by the way, if you're worried about ticket prices, here's a little secret. Wait till the day of the game. Secondary market. Those motherfuckers drop. End of story.
Yeah, there's ways to get around it, and there's ways to make it happen if you're one of these fans who wants to show out for the team. And listen, I'm also one of these guys who I do get the beauty of sitting at home and watching a game. I think that's why, like, going to football games for me, like, man, I'd rather watch from home on a Sunday. Sunday is so good at home, but baseball is something special, especially once that weather starts getting nice. And as you see from this tweet from good old Mike Puma that's on the screen right now on YouTube, if you're watching here, Cohen wants this. He plans to make this a destination. All these things that you see coming out with the blueprints for what he wants to do to the area, we can nitpick. We can say this is good, this is bad, this is that, this is the other thing. He cares. At the end of the day, this is an owner who cares about everything, about putting out a good product, about building it up the right way, about making this business work as well, because people do tend to forget about that, because they just think he's going to throw cajillion dollars at every single player. But no, he also wants this to work from a business perspective.
Now, I don't know if you've been to Pittsburgh for a baseball football game?
I've been for a baseball game and a few visits, not for football, but baseball. I've been a couple times.
All right, but the area has everything is right there. I think that's exactly what he wants to do with Citi Field. He wants it to be a pre-game destination and a post-game destination. And then when there's no games around, a destination as well. People go to, whether they get the casino or whatever they get over there, bars, restaurants, hotels. He wants to make it a destination. And I respect him for doing that. He's putting his money where his mouth is. We wanted the Wilpons, the coupons, to put their money where their mouth was. Most of the time, they didn't. They put their money in their pockets while everybody else was losing their money in Ponzi schemes. But Met fans need to show up and show out. I'm not saying go to every game. I'm not. Listen, going in April after opening day, I hate going there, especially to a night game. It is cold at Citi Field in April on a Wednesday night or Thursday night. It is cold. But we have Francisco Lindor and Juan Soto together, and then Pete Alonso, who you all wanted back. You got him back. I'm glad he's back as well. Mark Vientos, Brandon Nimmo, the list goes on and on and on and on. We have to show up as a fan base. We have to show up to show Steve Cohen, you did your part. Now we'll do ours. He's not asking for us to all buy season tickets. We can't do that. But just show up to 5 games. Show up to 7 games. In the summertime, plenty of time. Show up to a couple games in the summertime. Heck, you want to go to a game? Reach out to me or reach out to B. Kenny. We could all meet up and have a good time in the 500 section. Who gives a rat's ass? But just show up. You can't expect the owner to spend when you're not showing up to the ballpark.
Yeah, and shout out to Carlos in the chat. He says he can only watch them on TV because he lives in Florida. Well, shout out first off, Carlos in the chat there. But also, when they show up, I don't know where you live in Florida. It's a big state. But if you're near Miami, you got to get out there and root for the Mets when they play the Marlins and hopefully kick their ass all year long, because that will be one of the big benefits of playing in the NL East. There's been a lot of talk about the NL East being this absolute gauntlet. Any year for the Mets to take care of business against the Marlins and Nationals, it has to be this year. It's going to be a dogfight with Philly, dogfight with Atlanta. If you don't take care of business with Miami and with Washington, this is not going to end the way we hope it does. So that's super important for the Mets this year.
What's the over on the win total? Last time I checked, it was for the Mets 90.5, I want to say. And for the Yankees, it might have been. And for the okay, so the Mets. So 90.5 is the number. Before I say my number, what do you think the Mets win total will be? And this is no injuries. We're just doing win total, which I'll do on the fan again, like I said, this weekend. Do they go over? And if so, what's the number? If they go under, if so, what's the number? And the final result, do they make the playoffs or not?
I'm going to start off with the playoffs because that'll be my positive. I think they do make the playoffs. I think the National League does actually beat up on itself a little bit this year. 90.5. I think they're like a 90 win club. I think this number is spot on. I know Fangraphs has them at 87. I think they go above that. If the number was 87.5, I'd take the over. But if I'm trying to win the money, I'm taking the under because I do think they're a hot team. They're a team in the market that people want to bet on, even outside of the area. It's like, oh, they got Juan Soto. Of course, they're going to win more games. It's going to be tough. So I think over 90.5 is just a little rich for my blood. I'm going to take the under, but I do think they make it as a wild card into the playoffs. I don't think they win the division.
Did you say 90?
I think they win 89 or 90 games. Yeah, I think they're right on the number. It's a perfect line.
Oh, come on, Pete. I need a number. 89 or 90. This is a contest.
90 on the dot, baby. Let's go with 90.
Here's the funny thing. Last week when I was pressed on air, I said the Mets will win 90 games. That's the number I said. I said 90 games. But since the number is 90.5, I'm going over. I'm going to say the Mets win 91 games and they make the playoffs. I don't give a shit about winning division. I don't give a shit about any of that stuff. All I care about is the Mets enter the playoffs like they did last year, red hot and scary. So that's what I want for the Mets. Just get in the playoffs, red hot, playing great baseball. Not like 2022, where you limp in and then you get your asses kicked. 91 wins, and I think they make the NLCS. Do I think they go to the World Series? I don't know, because anything could happen at the trade deadline. Injuries happen. I think the Dodgers have gone on record as saying this on air, and I'll say it again. And I'm not trying to mock Miller, Bobby Miller got hit in the face, but that is a sign of what the Dodger season is going to be. 2025 is going to be the biggest flop in Los Angeles Dodgers history and in sports history. Mark my words. I'm not the only one saying it, but I just have the guts to say it on record. And when I do say it on the biggest microphone, in sports talk radio, I'm saying it's out there. But I'm saying 91 wins, NLCS, and I don't know what they do at the deadline, so I'm not going to say World Series. We'll see what happens. But 91 wins and the over.
Hell yeah, I like my meatballs spicy, Al. You're saying the Dodgers. You're saying the Dodgers right now are going to have a year from hell. Because it's possible. Listen, how many years have we lived in this baseball world and heard about the biggest offseason winner? How often does that lead to the World Series winner? And you could unfortunately put the Mets in that same boat because so many people just chalk them up as one of the offseason winners with the Juan Soto deal. However, their team is largely intact from what it was last year, one series away. They don't have that World Series hangover, if you will. We know how difficult it is to repeat in any sport. And in baseball, if I'm not mistaken, there hasn't been a repeat champion in a long time. And since who has won 2 in a row? I'm gonna look this up. But it wasn't the Yankees in the late 90s, was it? Who have won 2 in a row?
I think they were the last team to do it. Holy shit.
You know what I'm saying? So everyone who wants to just throw the Dodgers in there.
Yeah. The Giants did it alternate years, every other year. The Red Sox did it same thing.
Cardinals had 2 in 3 or 4 years, I think. It said, the last back-to-back World Series was the Yankees three-peat, 98 to 2000.
Okay, 98 to 2000. So
they had a three-peat, but still.
Listen, and go back in the day into the 90s when the Mets signed Bobby Bonilla, Eddie Murray. Everybody's like, oh, shit, the Mets, they're stacked. And then one of the biggest flops in Mets history as well was that team. They're still paying Bobby Bonilla, by the way. So anything can happen, and it's a long season, but I just feel like, yes, the Dodgers on paper have a great rotation, but how many times have those guys in that rotation pitched a full season? Go ahead, I'll wait.
I think even the Dodgers know that, man. That's why they have so many starting pitchers, because they don't trust almost any of them to stay healthy for the whole year. That's literally how they've built their team. Granted, they seem to have, the most endless pockets of anybody in the league right now, but they're building out that depth. Unlike, us fans are unhappy with the Mets and Yankees in that regard, because they expect injury and seem to be more ready for it. And that's kind of been the difference right now. They're willing to go above and beyond to be ready for those injuries, whereas the Yankees and the Mets are more comfortable piecemealing post-injury moves together, which is just making it more difficult on them. Now,
we did our Mets talk. By the way, the first spring training game, I think, is Saturday they're playing. The Mets, it's going to Lindor, Soto, and Alonso are playing. So I look forward to, hopefully I catch that on SNY or MLB TV or streaming somewhere, somebody's illegal stream, whatever the case may be. I'll find that. I'm looking forward to seeing it. But with spring training, once I see an inning or two, I'm fucking done. I'm ready. I don't want to see number 96 pitching against number 88. When I was a kid, I loved it. As an adult, give me 1-2 innings and I'm ready to go. Let's get to the real deal.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'll watch any NBA game over that. I might even turn on the Rangers over that. I don't need to watch spring training. It's just not. It's not for me. It's not for me. It's for somebody, but it ain't for me.
And I've never done the Port St. Lucie thing. I've been invited by my former teammate in football leagues in Queens, Tony. He lives in Port St. Lucie, so I have to take him up on his off for one of these years to go down there and check it out. Plus, it's a nice weather, getaway, meet the players, blah blah blah. So you'll see how that goes. Now on to the Yankees. So Yankee fans, here you go. You wanted some attention, but it's not the good attention. Oh, go ahead.
we got to not forget to tell people to subscribe to the podcast right here on YouTube. Al already failed once at remembering to tell everybody. Subscribe to Uptown Sports TV on YouTube. We got almost 100 people right now across all of our different platforms watching live at the moment. So if you're on Twitter, click onto that YouTube link on YouTube on Uptown Sports TV. Check it out on YouTube. Hop in the chat. Let us know what you're thinking about the Mets and now, of course, on the Yankees. But subscribe to Uptown Sports, TIO Al Friends every Thursday night at 8:00.
And I fucking have it here written. Subscribe. And you told me before we came on, yo, Al, don't forget. So
I'm wearing Hector's hat tonight too, so I felt even more,
Oh, okay. Oh, my bad, man. So good job with you on Pete on that. So my bad. So on to the Yankees. Yankee fans, you wanted Yankee talk? Well, there's plenty of Yankee talk, and it's not the good kind. Giancarlo Stanton's already out for the season. I'm joking, but he's got an elbow issue, which why didn't he take care of it during the offseason, which is bananas. You got Clark Schmidt dealing with a back injury. This is the one that makes me laugh and chuckle because I just heard about it. Austin Wells is fatigued. What the fuck? What the fuck? He's fatigued. Tim Hill's hurt. Jake, don't call me Kirk Cousins is hurt. And DJ LeMahieu's coming back. DJ LeMahieu with the AARP club for the Yankees is dealing with injuries. What the fuck is going on with the New York Yankees from the Bronx?
Oh my God, dude. I saw a picture of like their third baseman competition and I couldn't make out who the third person was. I looked at it quickly, but it was like LeMahieu and Oswaldo Cabrera, standing there at third base. Like, this is the competition for Yankee spring training. I'm like, damn, that's kind of bleak, because Yankee fans would want it to be Cabrera to win that outright. And to do even 75% of what Mark Vientos did last year would be like a massive win to shore up that third base spot. But DJ LeMahieu, with the possibility of being in that lineup without Giancarlo Stanton and leaning on Cody Bellinger and Paul Goldschmidt, who haven't been consistent over the last few years, it's just tough on the offensive side of the ball for the Yankees right now. And this Giancarlo thing couldn't have been worse. Last year, I was all over this the entire season with the Yankees. He shouldn't be this relied upon in your lineup right now. He's great when he's there. We know what he does in the playoffs. It's amazing to watch how clutch and consistent he is every playoffs for 4 years now. It's awesome to watch. But this team can't be so dependent on him that if he's out, this lineup doesn't make sense. And that is where they are right now. This lineup does not make sense without a guy who can't play 100 games a year. It's just not a good place to start off the season.
No, and last season, before the season, I said, when I was talking about the Yankees, I said the guy I'm rooting for the most is Giancarlo Stanton because he's overcome so much shit in this town from the Yankee fans booing him and booing him and booing him and booing, and he still persevered. And the playoffs was the man before Soto got in. And last playoffs with Soto, he was the man because let's face it, their captain dropping fly balls in center field and going 1 for 60 and not doing shit in the postseason didn't come through. Juan Soto, Giancarlo Stanton, even Gleyber Torres, I think he pitched in, and Anthony Volpe had a grand slam, for Christ's sakes. So, for me, this Yankee lineup to have Giancarlo Stanton, like you said, depending on him, and now he's going to be out. Who knows how long? Who knows how long it's going to take to heal up? You're depending on Cody Bellinger, who I like the moves. I like the Goldschmidt signing for 1 year. I think the Yankees believe they're going to be on Vladdy. He's not going to the Yankees. It's going to be Boston or the Mets. I'll leave it at that. I'm waiting to hear some more info from one of my little birdies. Be Boston or the Mets. I'll leave it at that. But the Yankees to have issues with at third base, and I think if DJ LeMahieu didn't have another year left in his contract, they would have got rid of his ass. But he's got another year. He's like that Jeff McNeil. That's what that is, except without the attitude. So you have the third base issue. You have Jazz going to – I think Jazz is going to be playing second this year. He's going back to second. Volpe at short. Your catcher's already fucking fatigued. He's 24, 25, 26. Give me a break. You got Stanton in the Aaron Judge in the outfield. You got Jason Dominguez in the outfield. You got Cody Bellinger in the outfield. Paul Goldschmidt last year, first half of the season was terrible. Second half of the season, he was much better. But this Yankee lineup with Stanton is okay. Without Stanton, that is a major blow for this lineup.
Yeah, and I should give Stanton a little bit of credit. He has played 100 games the last of the 4 years, but it's been 110, 101, 114, and now he's missing that chunk kind of to start the season. Mm-hmm. So are you now expecting him to be healthy from when he returns all the way to the end of the season? It's just unlikely. I hate to say it, but it's unlikely. And yeah, he only had a 298 on base percentage last year, but we know the 27 home runs, they were massive. So they do need that bat. Is Paul Goldschmidt or Cody Bellinger going to hit 27 home runs this year? I'd bet on no. Bellinger's only hit over 30 home runs once in his entire career, and it was that one MVP season in 2019. He hit 40 something, and he's been really bad after that, and then pretty good after that in Chicago. But he had 2 seasons in the on base percentage in the 200s. Al, that's real bad. And there's a guy who now you're looking at. Oh, he's going to be batting first or third, and he needs to be the guy behind Aaron Judge. That is a type of pressure that Bellinger hasn't felt since he's been in LA. And again, let me remind you, on base percentage in the 200s his last 2 years in LA.
Now, I saw a clip of Spencer Jones taking Max Fried deep earlier today in spring training. The question is, does Spencer Jones seize the moment in spring training? We've heard all this hype. It was Jason Dominguez, who they were talking about since he was 6 years old. He's going to be a great Yankee. It felt like forever. And then he's felt like he's been here forever. Will Jason Dominguez seize the moment? But will Spencer Jones seize a roster spot and take advantage of this moment and show, I'm ready. I'm ready. You need power? I'm here. I'm ready to go. Or will the Yankees end up using him as a piece and go get a proven power bat for their lineup?
The Yankees will do what they always do. They will hold on to him as he continues to strike out a ton in the minor leagues and occasionally hit bombs and say, he could be this, he could be that. We won't trade him because we value him so highly. And then all of a sudden his value plummets. They can't trade him for anything worthwhile. And by the time he gets up, his confidence is done and he has no chance. I mean, there's a good player in there somewhere with Spencer Jones. Obviously, the talent is legit, but can you
strikes out too much?
He strikes out a ton, but can you trust that the Yankees will actually give him a shot early in the season? Absolutely not. They don't do that. The fact that they're actually expecting to play Dominguez as much as they are is like a thank you. We've been asking for this for years now. And granted, was years a little too aggressive? Absolutely. But at some point last year, they should have been playing him more. And this year, they're finally doing it. Is it too late? I don't think so. I think Dominguez is going to be good. But the Yankees have an MO. And that MO is holding on to their prospects too tightly because they're so proud of their prospects and they never shine. Not never, but almost never shine. They're not good at deploying them at the right moments.
Well, they haven't had a mega superstar prospect since Aaron Judge. Volpe was supposed, Yankee fans thought he was going to be next Derek Jeter. I was like, pump the brakes on that. As long as he's a good baseball player, that's all that matters. They're killing the kid. They already want to run him out of town. What is he, 23 years old? Give me a break. I mean,
he's a nice player.
Yeah, he's a good player. You need good players. You can't have superstars everywhere. The Yankees back in the day had superstars everywhere. That didn't always necessarily mean a World Series. Like the same thing with Met fans. They want superstars everywhere. That's not going to work. You need guys that know their role. The guy that's going to, move the run over, and not think, oh, what about my numbers and my bonuses and all that other shit. You need role players. And right now, both teams, when it comes to the Mets, I think the Mets have a decent amount of role players. The Yankees are going to have to depend heavily on the role players if these injuries continue to hurt the lineup.
And I do think that's why Jazz Chisholm could be really great for them this year. And I think what all fans did and what we all do every time there's a trade of a player you know of, but obviously you're not intimately familiar. When you trade for somebody, you go right to their baseball reference and you check it out. And if you go to Jazz Chisholm's baseball reference, you're going to see numbers that aren't the most exciting, right? Like he doesn't bat 300. He bats in the 250s. He doesn't hit, 35 home runs, but he hits 25 home runs. He is not a guy who is going to light up the box score in a massive OPS style way where it's going to be like these ridiculous numbers. But he's absolutely a guy who is necessary on the Yankees right now. He's a guy who brings variance. He's a guy who, when he steps up to the plate, you can feel his presence that something could happen. And I know as Mets fans, when we watched them play the Marlins, at least I did as a fan, when a Jazz Chisholm steps in the plate, everything's on the table. This guy can go yard. This guy can hit a single and steal second. This guy can make an amazing play out in whatever position you put him out there. I love that Jazz Chisholm gets a full year with the Yankees now, and especially since he had almost as many home runs in 46 games with the Yankees as he did in 100 with the Marlins last year. So clearly something clicked right. Obviously, some of the numbers weren't perfect, but he looked good for them and brought an energy to them that they desperately need.
Well, I tell you right now, a good thing to Jazz Chisholm going to American League is that it's weaker than a National League. Let's be honest. And that's not the Yankees' fault. That's not his fault. He took advantage of it. Good for him. He came up. It was hitting home runs left and right, electrifying the fans, showing it was a good move. Now with no Stanton and some questionable, you don't know what Goldschmidt's going to do. You don't know what Bellinger's going to do. There's a lot of pressure on Jazz to step up to the plate as well. So there's not only pressure on Dominguez and maybe Spencer Jones. Excuse me, spring training could light it up and force the Yankees' hand, because if he does that and the Yankees don't put him on the opening day roster, the fans will go absolutely fucking crazy. Enough of this prospect coddling, hoarding, whatever word you want to use. The fans are gonna end up trying to force the hand of the team and the organization. Say, yo, what are we doing? Like, he's ready. If he's killing in spring training, he's proven. Give him a shot, especially with no Stanton. You can put him at DH and let him run with it.
Yeah, and you're going to have to get a little creative, and that's one thing you give them credit for. They get creative. There's going to be, 35 different lineups that the Yankees run out. That's how they do it. It's never going to be the same. So all these conversations we have preseason, should Judge bat 1, 2, 3, whatever? Does Volpe, has Volpe earned the right to bat leadoff yet? Does Bellinger slot in there at all? These are conversations that we're having that are important to kind of figure out what to expect with this team. But let's be real. Aaron Boone and Cashman are moving and shaking with this lineup as much as humanly possible. It's how they do it. You're going to see one day Dom Smith batting fourth for the Yankees, right?
Oh my God, Dom Smith. Oh, that's right.
We're all going to make a joke about it, but at the end of the day, Al, don't you kind of just expect for the Yankees to be like a top 10 offense anyway? Largely because of Judge, but they piecemeal together a decent enough offense somehow, some way, even though we watch it and go, this offense doesn't have juice, but they still live at the top 10.
Speaking of, where would they finish? You said top 10 in offense. The Yankee number is what, 91 and a half? Is it 91 and a half? 91 and a half. Okay, so it hasn't changed. I'll let you go first on this one as well. 91 and a half. Do they make the playoffs, win a division, World Series? What do you think happens to the Yankees this season?
I think it's another good line by Vegas. I think that they got this thing down pat, right? They seem to be doing pretty well over there at the sports books for some reason or another.
They take a lot of people's money. Absolutely.
Yeah, but what I think people are underestimating with the Yankees right now is that this division in the AL East is actually not as bad as people make it seem. It doesn't have the high-end talent that the NL East has, but they have 5 teams, according to Fangraphs, that are actually projected to finish above 500. Like the Red Sox are a little better. The Rays are still good and competitive.
Pete, the Red Sox are much better.
They're much better.
Year.
Well, they were 500 last year. They were 500.
Bregman, they got Garrett Crochet, Walker Buehler. Yeah. They're going to be much better this year.
Agreed. So I think, again, we're underestimating the AL East. So I actually think the Yankees, I think they go slightly over. I still think they get to 92, 93, but this is by no means a 100-win team. They win the division by, matter of the war of attrition with the rest of the AL East, because it's never going to be easy. The Mets have the luxury of hopefully beating up on the Marlins and Nationals. The Yankees don't have a luxury of a punching bag in that division. Even the Blue Jays can play 500 ball. The Orioles can still be better than 500. So all these teams are solid. So this idea of 95 wins, 100 wins, I think that's out of reach, but I do think they still win the division. And I'll say 92. I really want to say 91, but I can't go under by 1 game for both the Mets and Yankees. I'll say 92 for the Yankees.
And did they make the playoffs?
Yes, they still win the division, but the rest of the AL East is close, and possibly two wild cards out of the AL East, possibly.
All right. So you said 92 make the playoffs, win the division. You mentioned a number. It's funny you mentioned a number. I'm going 95 wins for the Yanks. I think they go 95 wins based on their starting pitching staff. And again, this is all health. That's Fried, Cole. We don't know what's going on, Marcus Stroman. By the way, I love what he did with the Yankee pants, making them into shorts. The traditional fans are upset about it. I don't give a fucking rat's ass. I love who cares. Then who else is starting pitcher on that staff? You got Rodon,
Luis Hill,
Clark, and Luis Hill. So I think based on their starting pitcher staff and their bullpen being top 3, if that, in baseball. They have an elite bullpen. Their starting pitching is elite. I think based on that, I think 95 wins, and also think come the trade deadline, the Yankees make a power move as well. For example, if a team like the Blue Jays are out of it and they're still in dire need of somebody, like, I don't know, a Bo Bichette, I can see the Yankees making a move, or the Twins are out of it, or Carlos Correa. I can see the Yankees making a move like that. I can see them doing a power move at the trade deadline to, you could move Correa to third, maybe Bichette could place on third, Volpe can go to third, whatever the case may be, if third base is not working out. But I see the Yankees winning 95 games, making the playoffs and winning the division as well. I'm not going to go and say World Series. I'm not doing any of that yet because we can do that when the season starts and see what health is for everybody else. So we're in agreement. Playoffs division. I say 95 playoffs division. So Yankee fans, there you go. You always think I troll and whatever. I don't troll. I have my fun, but at the same time, I keep it a buck. So I think the Yankees will be just fine this season, and they're lucky they're not in the National League. I just leave it at that. Now, you brought up the All-Star game stuff, NBA.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, this is the first All-Star game I did not watch one single second of. I did not. I was not interested. I watched the dunk contest. Shout out to Matt McClung for a three-peating. I love seeing a guy who looks like you work at Foot Locker win a slam dunk contest 3 years in a row. So shout out to him. But other than that, I saw Jalen Brunson beat Cam Johnson. That's all I cared about. I didn't care if he won the 3-point contest. But they got a major problem, bro, with the All-Star game, NBA. They really, really, really do. And they could take a lesson, play a page out of the playbook of NHL, who right now, what is it called? The Four Nations? Everybody's into this shit. Yeah, everybody's into this shit. They got rid of their All-Star game for this year. I know next year's the Olympics. They got rid of their All-Star game this year for something different. And the fans are into it. To get in the building tonight, the cheapest ticket was $2,000. Canada's winning 1-0. $2,000 to get in the building. So on my show last week on The Fan, I said, and I was talking with Rami, shout out to Rami, I wrote, why don't do the world versus the United States?
Mm-hmm.
And you could have the world jerseys and the United States jerseys instead of the NBA jerseys. Throw that shit away. So that'll make it a little more interesting. Now you have the flag of the international team you're playing for, but it says world, and then for the United States, obviously the USA. And now that'll make it mean I think the players will be into it. I think I don't care about prize money or that shit. They have enough money. Who gives a rat's ass about that? I think that's the way you get fans interested in it. And another reason, they don't all have to be all-stars, especially the world. Those cats that are not all-stars but make the world team, they're going to play their asses off to try to embarrass, a big name on the United States team. And then maybe that'll make the kid on the United States be like, oh, a superstar. I can't have this third stringer on the Denver Nuggets whooping my ass. So what are your thoughts on the NBA all-star format that I'm throwing out there?
I'm in the camp that trying something is good. I know this year was a failure, but at least they tried something. So all the criticism that they get, I do believe they should get at least a little bit of credit for doing something to try and make it better. Did it fail? Absolutely. Did it suck? Yes, it did. I was locked into SNL 50 on Sunday night, and I had the All-Star game on my small screen on the side. And
How was that, by the way? I didn't watch all of it.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. It's so hard. So many moving parts in a show like that. Trying to get the egos of all these superstars in, like Eddie Murphy crushed it. Will Ferrell crushed it. Some of the more current guys I thought were very prevalent, like Tina Fey, Amy Poehler were really good. Keenan still did a great job. Steve Martin did the monologue. That was nice. And Adam Sandler kind of won the night, in my opinion, with a beautiful homage tribute with a few good jokes in there where he sang a song kind of shouting out the 50 years of SNL. So it was nice. I enjoyed it thoroughly, and I definitely spent my time much better watching that than watching the All-Star game. But again, you got to give them a little bit of credit for trying something. So I'm not going to be shocked if they try something new next year. Just off the bat, they had 6 All-Stars who are not American this year, right? And if you count Kyrie Irving as worlds because he was born in Australia, we got 7. So there's 7 All-Stars who are not American just off of a regular year. And there's a number of other players who are awfully close to being All-Stars who are not from America, who still could make this game interesting. I think it's absolutely worthwhile trying this out, and it could create some juice in the stadium. It could create some pride where, these guys actually realize, especially we're speaking about the American guys, right? Realize, okay, we have a new way to get embarrassed now, losing to the world. Because I think the big thing with the All-Star right now, these stars are afraid to be embarrassed. They're afraid to fail. They don't want to do the dunk contest because they don't want to look stupid. They don't want to play hard because they don't want to get crossed up and dunked on. Now, your pride is on the line for a different reason. Show up and show out, or else you'll be embarrassed for not being good enough. And that's the worst type of embarrassment to me. So yeah, let's go for it.
That guy knows, I understand the money's, they don't need the money like they used to back in the day. Like these guys did the dunk contests and all this stuff because the money wasn't as big as it was. But there comes a point, like if I was an NBA guy that could jump out of the gym, Zion Williamson, let's just say, and my dunks, I've done high school dunk contests 1 million times, and I've done college dunk contests, whatever, 1 million times. Me, I'd want to go whoop somebody's ass in the dunk contest and be the center of attention and be like, here's my trophy, it increases my brand. You care about your brand so much. Well, if you know you can dunk, dunk out the gym, jump out the gym, then do it. LeBron James to me started this when he didn't do it. I thought the rookie season he should have did the dunk contest, get it over with, get it out of your system, do it. The fans would have been so happy you did this shit. Instead, you dunked out like a coward. You see Giannis saying, maybe I should do dunk contest. That ain't happening. You see John Morant, well, maybe I should do it. He got a better chance of shooting another gun off than fucking doing a dunk contest because that ain't happening either. But I saw this dunk contest, the kid for the Bulls. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy?
Modest Buzelis.
Nah, modest booty holes. Like I don't give a shit. I had no idea who this fucking guy was. So speaking of the teams and stuff, my idea is don't play this game in the United States. Go play this game on international soil.
Oh.
That way, the USA can feel like the enemy and feel the hatred. I think that would bring their level of play up. If you play this in Vegas, who gives a rat's ass? If you play this in the Garden, who gives a rat's ass? If you play this in France, where Wemby's an up and coming star, they will go crazy. If you play this in Serbia, they will be for Jokic. And even Luka out there, they will go crazy. Like, this is my point. Play it on international soil, see how it works. If it's out of control, crazy, and it gets violent, well, obviously, then you never do it again. But I think for the first year, for the intensity, I think you do it on international soil.
That's a great idea. I'm going to play Debbie Downer here to pull out another SNL reference. They're not going to do it because they won't make as much money. This is still a money-making process for them. Them having to send out all this stuff overseas, they're going to have to spend a lot more money to do so. You can probably argue that it helps their worldwide reach and they'll make money overseas, and that's all still a win for sure. But this weekend, as bad as it was, is still a moneymaker for the NBA. They're still selling tons of ads on TVs, which doesn't really make them money. They have the TV deal, whatever. But they're having 3 nights of crowds and all this merch that goes along with it. Like, they're still doing well from a money perspective. I don't think they'll do this, but it's a fantastic idea, Al.
How about this? You're a wrestling fan, correct?
I dabble. I'll tap in here and there.
So these cities and international markets as well bid for PLE events. They also bid in the United States of WrestleMania. Why not bid for the All-Star game internationally to be in the area? You get money from it. When the game is there for a week or when the players are there for a week, I think you should give the players 2 weeks off when you do it internationally because you're going to need time to recover from international travel as well. You bid for it, make it a whole week festivities, dunk contest, 3-point contest. You can do all that stuff. The players sign autographs, fan fest, blah, 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 blah. And you making a purse because the cities are bidding on hosting. The countries are bidding on hosting your product. What are your thoughts on that?
That makes it interesting. I think the money side, you're right. They can make it up. They can get there somehow, some way. They're going to be spending more, but making more on the flip side. It will definitely lead to like electricity, if you will. Like there will be a buzz about it that is different. The one thing that you get nervous about, because what have these stars showed us? They're not willing to go above and beyond for this weekend. Are they going to be willing to go overseas on an even further flight, taking their families and the whole nine? Like if it's a really nice place, then maybe they will, but it's a great idea. I don't know. I wouldn't bet on it. I just think it's a great idea. But wait, I have an idea. You just triggered something in my mind. On the WWE front. How about this? Before they go overseas, this might be an idea. They got a WWEify this whole weekend, right? So we just saw the Royal Rumble a few weeks ago or a month ago.
Yep.
What if for like the 3-point contest, they only announced 4 of the 8 contestants. And then all of a sudden it's time for one of the surprise entrances. And then Steph Curry comes out. Oh, it's Steph Curry. Here he comes. You got Mac McClung trying to redeem his crown. You got Amen Thompson next year doing crazy dunks. And then the other 2 are surprise. And Anthony Edwards is just sitting there on the sideline in a hoodie, chilling. And our next dunker, and the spotlight starts flipping around. Anthony Edwards. And he comes out, whips off his sweatsuit, and does like a crate. That could be something. That could be a little bit of something to get the people going. Oh, who's going to come out for this dunk contest? Giannis? John Morant? That could get people hyped.
Well, you have to make sure it's the right person for the right buzz. You can't be like, who's next? Oh, it's Bobby Portis Jr. Like you can't have that happen. You know. And by the way, Anthony Edwards, use a condom, bro. Like, make
Oh
sure you
man,
use your own condom, bro. I don't even want to get into it, but go Google it. You know what I'm talking about. Use a
not good,
condom, my man.
not
But
good.
as far as that, the All Star game we talked about, you got the world versus the United States. Who are your starting five for the world and the United States?
Are we assuming that Joel Embiid is playing basketball? Because I think we can't. I think we can't assume that, right? We can't assume that he's
No,
playing
no,
enough. Okay,
no.
so the absolutes are going to be SGA for the world,
That's who I have.
Nikola Jokic, and Luka Doncic
Uh-huh.
and Giannis Antetokounmpo. I think those four are pretty locked in as guarantees.
Mm-hmm.
And Wembanyama. Oh my
You nailed
god,
the start. You
that's
nailed my
insane.
starting five.
Actually, I almost
Yeah,
forgot about Wemby. Yeah, that's
yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah. That's the starting five. And for the U.S.,
Whew. Like for this year, I guess, or presuming for next year, I guess we'll
yeah,
say. Oh God, I mean, Steph and LeBron are going to have to be in that. They're going to
that's who I
still
have.
get that. Steph and LeBron are going to get it no matter what. I think then you have to start looking at Jason Tatum. He'll be in
He's
there.
in there.
Kevin Durant will probably still be in
He
there.
he's there.
And then the fifth spot, man, that's tough.
He's on our team.
Oh, you think it's Brunson?
No,
Cat.
center.
Oh, true. They
Yes,
need
sir.
a center. It's going to be Cat. I mean, it could be Anthony Davis or Cat.
Cat.
Yeah, that would be it. It'll probably be Cat for just consistency standpoint.
Cat. Now I did this with Connor. I should say. I believe I did this with Connor, not Romney. But shout out to both of them anyway. The
Shout
bench.
out.
The bench. I have Jamal Murray, Canada, Pascal Siakam, Christoph Porzingis, DeAndre Ayton, Lauren Marketing, Shingun, Franz Wagner, and Kyrie Irving, because you said Australia, depending on what he wants to do. For the U.S., you got Booker, Brunson, Edwards, Mitchell, Davis, Mobley, Jared Jackson Jr., John Morant, and if Embiid wants to play and he's healthy, but he's the minutes restriction, Joel Embiid.
And Cade Cunningham, Evan Mobley.
I have Mobley on here, true that, but the United States has so many guards. So many guards. But I think, who do you think will be the favorite in that game?
Oh, man. Honestly, I think you have to take the world because I think they off rip take it more serious. So I think it's going to be one of those situations where it's like, oh my God, they come out screaming hot and the US team is like, wow, we got to step up right now. I think if you set a line on it, you set the line at like, world -3.5 or something like that. World -4.5. And then, you could bet USA is a dog, which is funny because they have a better team. Maybe not a better starting five though. Maybe not a better starting five.
Yeah, they world's starting five. If that's the starting five, they have MVP, all defensive players. Just the youth is on their side. I'm looking at this. I went over it last Saturday on my show. I'm looking at this, and if that doesn't motivate the USA being an underdog in a fucking All-Star game with the world watching, then nothing's ever going to motivate this United States. And this All-Star game is for the shits forever.
Al, let me tell you this. Let me ask you this first. Do you
Sure.
remember the last American MVP? It's been 5 years.
Was it Embiid count?
No.
Okay, so
I'm not
Joel
counting
Embiid.
it.
Steph Curry.
No, it was James Harden in 2017, 2018.
Right?
So it's been Harden in 2018.
Holy shit.
Giannis, Jokic, Embiid, and then Jokic. So it's been a while. Who is the next player? Oh, go ahead.
What year is the Harden one?
2017, 2018.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Sorry,
No,
Jesus.
it's crazy. So who is the next American that can win an MVP? If you had to put money on an American to win the MVP, who would you bet on?
Jason Tatum.
You think he'll get one?
Jason Tatum.
Mm.
Yeah, I think he's the one that if the American's going to win it. Curry's past his prime. KD's past his prime. I thought Cat in the beginning of the season was top 5. Then injuries happen. If the Knicks are able to somehow, some way go crazy, get the 1 seed, and Cat is a big part of it, he's going to be up there. But the MVP, listen, Joker could win it every year. And he should have won it last year. He can win it this year. No, the year before that, Embiid won it. My bad.
Yeah.
Embiid won it the year before that. Joker could win it all these years in a row. Luka doesn't play any defense, so I really don't give a rat's ass. It's this year's between SGA and Joker, and
Yeah.
Joker's putting up a triple double. If they don't give it to him, they give it to SGA. It's a damn shame. I don't. I know OKC to finish number one, but if we're going by MVP and numbers, if we're really doing that, Joker's averaging a triple double, man.
Yeah, my vote would also be with Jokic, but I think SGA is deserving. Like, he's averaging 32, 33 a game. His defense is really, really good. As a guard, he's probably one of the best defenders in the league still. So I think SGA is deserving, but I would vote Jokic. But isn't it crazy that we have to already look to next year to see an American win the MVP? We know it's locked this year for a non-American. I think you got to throw Anthony Edwards' hat in the ring. The way he's shooting threes right now, the way he's got them assist up at around 5 per game, he's becoming one of the best shooters in the league, as well as the athletic freak that he is. I think he's another guy you have to look at. I actually would probably take him before Tatum. I see Tatum as that guy.
Really?
I just think Tatum is that guy who every year you're going to look at his basketball reference, going to say, MVP 3, MVP 4, MVP 2, MVP 5. Like, he's going to be in the top 5 every year. I don't see him get over the hump to be considered the best in the league, unless like Jaylen Brown leaves and he's alone and can score 30 or something like that.
So hopefully the NBA, if you're listening, Kamish, if you're watching, TIO Al Friends, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button. Uptown Sports Network, Uptown Sports TV, Facebook. Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, Friendster, whatever your app you're watching us, Twitter, X, whatever, Instagram. Hit the like and subscribe button as well. By the way, we talked about Saturday Night Live. Here's a fun fact about me. When I was doing acting, I sent a headshot to audition to SNL. Never got a call.
Mm-hmm.
I did. So that now my dreams to do.
I didn't know you had that in your bag. I didn't know you were acting back in the day. How long ago?
Yeah. 88, 98. Like early to mid 2000s.
How about that? I did not know that.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah, and then I gave it a shot again, took headshots again, and I'll post that one during one of these throwback Thursdays. But I did it. My dream is to do, well, I'm doing it now, Sports Talk Radio, but I always wanted to do stand-up comedy. I always wanted to. I went to a comedy club one time just to see people bomb on purpose so I can feel how uncomfortable it is. To see if it would scare me off, and it didn't scare me off. But that is one of my goals, and being on the Fan and getting my name out there even more. Eventually, I am going to give it a shot. If I get big enough, I'll do a charity event, a comedy special, following the steps of Craig Cohen and Boomer. And, they've done it before at Geo. They've hosted comedy events. So hopefully my day will come when I do something like that.
I just got to make me one promise here. If you make it as a stand-up, you got to make your first special be called Wash Your Ass.
Done. Done. I did that this morning. I'll do it after the show, but done. It'll be Wash Your Ass. That'll be the name of my special. I promise you that. That'll be the name of the special. There's no doubt about that. So we'll do that as well. What's next? What's the next topic, Pete?
We got to talk a little Knicks. So currently they're in the third quarter against the Chicago Bulls. They're up by 7 as we're speaking. So hopefully we got a few people, we're pushing on 200 people across all platforms watching us right now. Shout out to everybody watching right now. If you have the Knicks on your TV and us on your laptop or your phone or something like that, a special shout out to y'all. Tap in about what's going on in the Knicks game in the comment. But right now they're up 63-56. But I guess since this game's going on currently, we can just talk Knicks at large, post.
We got a box score real quick. We got what are the Knicks box score right now? Because I got some bets going on.
Yeah, we got 20 points and 8 assists for Jalen Brunson with 2 threes. We got 13 points for Miles McBride. Only 10 points for Cat, but 12 boards and 7 and 7 for Precious. Mikhail's not shooting a ton. He's only got 4 points and 4 rebounds.
How many assists does Cat have?
Only 1. So he's 10, 12, and 1.
How many? And you said Brunson's 28 with 2 threes. I need Brunson 3 threes.
He's right there, baby. 20. He's got 2, so he's right there. 2 for 8. So he's letting him rip today.
Well, no Josh Hart, which sucks. I'm worried about his injury. It sounds like it's going to be bothering him all season long. Going to have to pick and choose spots to rest him. I don't care. Go fuck yourself with your load management. He's really hurt, so we need him for the playoffs, especially the way it was last year when everything came, the pace of series, everybody and their grandmother got hurt. What are your thoughts on the Knicks and your second half expectations along with this Josh Hart injury and the apparent finally arrival of Mitchell Robinson?
Yeah, man. I'm excited for Mitchell Robinson. And New York Knicks basketball is back. It's unfortunate they're not back in full progress. Obviously, OG still out, but he is apparently getting very close. It's kind of that time where they're just waiting on the full clearance, but he's been practicing and all that stuff. Josh Hart, if he's not playing, he's freaking hurt. You know it
Yep.
for sure. So no criticisms going towards him right now, though it was hilarious on the last episode of the Roommates show. Jalen Brunson saying, yeah, your knee's hurt. Doesn't matter. I'm still faster than you. I run quicker with you than with the ball in my hands, and they're going back and forth. I don't know if you saw that clip, but it's very funny. Them just bickering for like 10 minutes straight about who's more athletic.
They're great. They're great.
Oh,
They're great.
they're so good. But and again, Al, and this is something that you've said on this show before. Unfortunately, we are going to see the Boston Celtics again, not at full strength. And perhaps, if I'm going to go spin zone right now, maybe this is a good thing. Maybe the fact that OG was out last time and now Josh Hart's out and Mitch Robinson still ain't back yet, and maybe the Knicks get run out the gym by Boston yet again, which is possible.
Oh, please no.
It's possible, but they haven't seen us at full strength yet. And maybe if I'm playing spin zone over here, that could be a win. I don't think it will be, but it could be. But overall, I'm still bullish, man. I think this team is, a top 5 team to win the finals from all the sports books for a reason. They're not a fraud by any means. They belong where they belong, but they belong at number 4 or 5. They just don't belong at 1 or 2 just yet. They ain't on the Celtics and Thunder level right now.
Okay, so let me ask you this. A lot of these teams last year, the Knicks went for the 2 seed. They weren't scared. They didn't bitch out like the Cavs and like the Bucks did. They bitched out of the 2 seed. They were afraid of Philadelphia. Happened to Philadelphia. How you doing, Philly? Shout out to Philly. How you doing, Philly Sixers fans? What about this year? If the Knicks, they're dangling at 3, right? They can't catch the Celtics, but the 4 seed is reachable. If you're the Knicks, do you pull a little? I got a tweak here. Brunson's got a tweak there, and drop to the 4 seed, get the 4-5 matchup, and play Cleveland in the second round, and take your chances, and rather than play Boston in the semis, take a chance versus Cleveland, and then hopefully play Boston in the conference finals full strength.
The only problem with that is 2 things. One, Tom Thibodeau is not built for that. Tom Thibodeau and Jalen Brunson and even Josh Hart to some extent.
I know. I just threw it out there.
Built for that. No, but you're right. And other teams would do that. But I do believe in the karma world. And it's not like a superstition thing. It's purely a karma and an energy that you're putting out. If you are out there trying to not win, I don't think you're rewarded. I don't think you're actually putting yourself in a better position because you're not playing at your best. We talked about the Mets when, they don't need to win 98 games to make a World Series run. They need to be playing their best ball as you reach October. I'd much rather the Knicks just keep winning and playing their ball and be hitting their best stride as we get closer to the playoff time. So no, it's not something I would angle for if it happened to happen because Josh Hart does miss a while and they do go on a little losing streak, then sure. But let me remind you, the grass ain't always greener. And if that happens, Indiana takes over the Knicks, and then you got Milwaukee in the first round and Giannis is playing on all cylinders, that's not very fun either. So I'd rather just play out and win and take on Boston. You're going to have to beat them at some point. Might as well play them whenever you do.
Now, I mentioned it. I don't know if it was my last show or the show before that. I heard Evan mention this week, started one of the shows with it. If the Knicks play Boston in the semifinals and lose in 5 games, I'm going to be terribly disappointed and pissed off. And it's embarrassing. If the Knicks lose in a tough 6 or 7 game series where they're in every single game, but they just lose to the defending champs, I think I could walk away with my head held high knowing, okay, this is year 1 with all these guys. It takes time to gel. It took Boston time to gel, find the right pieces to get it together. There's other teams that's taking time to find the right pieces, the right group of people. This is year 1 with Bridges, with OG, with Towns, with Brunson, and everybody together. And they haven't even been together because Robinson's been out. So to me, if they lose a 6 or 7 game series tough, and that means it'll show me they're right there another year together, then let's fucking go get it next season. But if they get embarrassed to get swept to losing 5 games to Boston Celtics and get blown out, I can clearly see the Knicks walking away from a guy like, and I know they traded 5 picks for Mikal Bridges. I can see the Knicks saying, I don't want to give this guy the long-term deal to stay with this team.
With Mikal Bridges?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see it too. And it's just going to be tough because you gave up so many assets that I think, with the way the CBA works, it's going to be much easier to re-sign him than get somebody
Mm,
else of equal value. So I think that bodes well in keeping Mikal Bridges with New York. It's just clearly he hasn't reached the 5 first-round pick mark just yet. And I'm here being much more positive on Mikal than most Knicks fans. I still love what he brings to the table every game. I love that he plays every game and his shot has gotten a ton better. Obviously, his percentages have reached to, his normal standards. But you're absolutely
mm.
right, Al. Context matters so much in this sport, and people hate to use context when making arguments. Oh, second round exit again. It's different when you lose to the defending champs in, agonizing fashion than getting blown out by the defending champs in the second round. Absolutely different. Shout out to our boy Gallo again. He talked about with his Denver Broncos how he'd rather get smoked in the playoffs and not have to be, in agony at the end of a game. I'm the opposite. I'd
So
rather
am I.
feel every emotion. I'd rather, be so disappointed. Even last year against Indiana, like that was a crushing 7-game series, and we knew we were a better team. They
Yeah.
just were hurt. But I'd rather that 7-game series any day of the week than, losing in 5 and never feeling close.
People forget the Michael Jordan Bulls, they took their lumps. All these championship teams took their lumps before they finally reached the top of the mountain. So this is only year one with these guys. It just sucks that if we go into another playoff series with a guy or two missing, not 100%. I'm sick of playing Boston on demand. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of getting embarrassed by Boston because we don't have a full roster. I'm sick of it. Give me the fucking Celtics and the Knicks fully loaded so we can see where we truly stand as a team, especially going into next offseason.
100%. This window's open, man. This window's not closing yet. There's no way because of where Cat and Brunson are with their age and their health. Like they got, 3-4 years left of really good basketball. I mean, the fact that you're seeing Damian Lillard still be a very good player next to Giannis, like that should bode well in the eyes of Knicks fans here. Like Jalen Brunson's a lot younger than that. And, he's playing better than Dame Lillard right now. I'm not trying to compare the two, but
Mm.
the fact that he can still go at this level for 3-4 more years, this window is open, man. It's not wide open because they're not the best in the league just yet, but it's absolutely open.
I've been talking with some my coworkers, some people that come to the hotel during the mornings. We talk basketball, and they think I'm crazy, but I feel like there's a chance that the Cavaliers, even though they traded for Hunter, that the Cavaliers come down to earth. This is a team that has never gotten through a season 100% fully healthy as well. We talk about the Knicks. Donovan Mitchell usually has a hamstring issue or sore knee or back. Darius Garland, until I see him perform in the playoffs, last time he played against the Knicks, my man was a frozen Frosty the Snowman, did nothing against the Knicks. Until I see the Cavs actually do something in the playoffs, get out the first round, or place it's blowing teams out in the playoffs. I don't believe in the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm scared of Boston more than I am Cleveland.
Oh, they're equal, right? The Cavs and Knicks are equal right now. I think if you're doing power rankings, yeah, sure, go ahead and rank the Cleveland Cavaliers above because they deserve for what they've accomplished so far this season. I mean, the fact that they are 5 games up on the Boston Celtics right now, they deserve some love. But they're in the same boat. They got a whole lot to prove in the playoffs. And Evan Mobley hasn't done in the playoffs. Jared Allen hasn't done in the playoffs. Donovan Mitchell, you can tip your hat and say, yo, you've had some serious performances in the playoffs before, but you still haven't gotten over the hump just yet. Right.
What was it, Jared? What was it, Jared Allen said? The brights were too light.
The lights were too
The
bright.
lights were too bright. Yeah, lights too bright. So I'm saying the other.
And that was 2 years ago. So hopefully he's grown from there, and I think they're rightfully so a favorite to, top 3 favorite in the East, as they should be. But they are by no means a much better playoff team than the New York Knicks until they do it as well. If you're talking about the playoffs, we're talking about equal contendership for the Knicks and the Cavs.
So we're pretty much in agreement when it comes to the whole. If they lose to Boston in a tough 6 or 7 game series, then I'm not saying I'm okay with it, but I'd say I feel better, much better than if they get swept or smacked in 5 and non-competitive versus Boston Celtics in a semifinal series. I don't want to get embarrassed.
And you got to be afraid then if you get embarrassed in the playoffs with most of, like, just say they're like 90% healthy, right? Like, obviously there's going to be someone banged up. It's just for every team. OG might have something that he's not 100% or whatever it may be. I know. I'm sorry to put that in the universe, but somebody will be banged up. But if you are at almost full health and you get embarrassed, that will trigger the front office to do something which could be really good. And so far it's been in Leon Rose we trust, but it could trigger them to do something a little bit too soon. And that would make me a touch nervous because this is famously not an exciting offseason coming up from a free agent perspective. But then again, in the NBA with trades, you never know because Luka got traded for one player.
Yeah, I mean, nobody saw that coming. And by the way, did you see the Hornets? Did you see the Hornets go after him, pick on him every play late in yesterday's game? They picked on him
every single play in the fourth quarter. Whoever Luka was guarding was setting a screen, and he was getting put on an island. He'll occasionally pull that James Harden where like he's a little slow, but his hands are still quick, and he'll disrupt a dribble or disrupt a pass. But they were calling him out there to the front every play. And that's the Charlotte Hornets. Like
And that's what I'm saying.
That's not a good basketball team we're talking about. Yeah, they have some good players, but bro, they were picking on homie big time.
Yeah, and that's why I get a kick out of it when they traded for Luka, how the championship odds went higher. I go, did he just start starting to play defense? Like they got rid of Anthony Davis, who was the defensive anchor for Luka Doncic. Yes, he's younger. At this stage in his career, more talented, even though AD, when he's healthy, is one of the best players in the league. That's why I thought Dallas, if he stays healthy, would have a legit shot to make the NBA Finals because of their defense. They're defensively oriented, but they're losing players left and right. But Luka Doncic, imagine they play OKC in the playoffs. SGA is going to have a field day on these picks and having Luka Doncic guard him. This is going to be comical.
And you can hide against players on the Hornets. You can't hide on OKC. Aaron Wiggins, as the Knicks fans know, will light you up. Isaiah Joe will light you up. Chet Holmgren will light you up. You can get crushed by some of these top dog teams. Yeah, I didn't even mention their second best player probably. Like it's going to be tough, but I am a little higher on the Lakers, I think, than you are. I am very much in this camp of like, we need to see them play for 3 weeks here. Let's get to March and see what this is looking like. Because right now you can see a little bit of Bron and Luka. I don't know if you noticed this as well. It's like, all right, you take it. Because like, I think you should take it now. No, you take it. And I think they're going to have to find some sort of rhythm because right now it's a kind of your turn, my turn thing. And if they figure out how to play with each other and not next to each other, I think they could be a not legendary. Let's maybe slow down just 1 second. A very, very good, a very, very good offense this year. And in the playoffs, you're talking about two stone cold killers on the offensive side in Bron and Luka. So I still have some faith in the Lakers to be very interesting in the playoffs.
And get back to the Knicks before we go is like I hear people talking about, well, the Knicks against OKC didn't play well. I don't give a shit about that because they're not playing OKC in the playoffs unless they meet the championship. Handle your business in the East. I need to see him play better. You got the Bulls tonight. You got the Cavs tomorrow. You got Boston on Sunday. You know, the Knicks cannot go. To me, 2-1, I'm happy. 1-2, and you get smacked by Cleveland and Boston, it's going to be a problem.
Oh, they better win tonight because they're only up 2 at the end of the third quarter. So that's not the prettiest of things right now. They're 83-81, end of the third quarter. So in order to go 2-1, they best believe they should win this game against Chicago first.
Let me ask you a question. What's Kobe White's stats this game?
6 points, 5 assists.
So who's doing damage for the Bulls?
Freaking Vucevic got 18. Lonzo's got 13 and 3, and Josh Giddey's got 14 points, 13 rebounds, 3 assists.
Yeah, and an underage girlfriend. What about the Knicks stat line?
And your boy Matas Booty Holes this. He's only got 5 points, but he's got 6 rebounds. Cat must have just took off in that third quarter because he's got 26 points now. 26 and 15. They're up 2. That spread was 10, by the way. I hate to say this.
Well, it was 12.5 to start the day.
Was it? I got it at 10, about 7:30, right before the game started.
Because they put Hart in. They said OG was officially out. He wasn't ruled out when it was 12.5.
I hope I'm wrong, Al, but I took the Bulls plus 10. I did.
You did. You pulled an Evan.
Well, listen, it's plus 10.
You pulled an Evan. You fucking pulled an Evan.
Win this game, man. The Knicks could win this game. I will say this. I almost never bet against the Knicks, but there's been many a times where I say this spread's too high and I just leave it. And I bet on my player props and I lose my same game parlay by 1 leg. It's just clockwork. It's how it works. I think everybody out here who bets same game parlays, I think Al included, we feel that pain. The 1 leg miss is really tough. But I said, you know what? This is too high. The Knicks are coming off of the break. I think they're going to be a little sluggish to start this game, which they were. They're only up 2 going into the third. They can still win by like 18 points right now. But I like plus 10 for the Bulls, and I put a little shekel on it.
All right. Well, I mean, hopefully the Knicks pull it out because they lose to the Bulls. I am not looking forward to the Cavs game tomorrow.
Oof.
Coming off of back-to-back and losing to the Bulls, then you got to travel to Cleveland.
Oof.
I'm hoping to get to the Garden either this month or next month. Now closer to Madison Square Garden. I'll just leave it at that, which makes the travel a little easier to get to the Garden. I'll definitely be at Citi Field a bunch this summer. I'm looking forward to that. And hopefully you bring your ass to Citi Field. We get Gallo to go. We get a bunch of troops to go. And I know we're planning on doing a Mets Yankees crossover live from Citi Field and Yankee Stadium this year with Heck and his Yankee fans. And then it'll be us Met fans. We'll do a crossover special at both stadiums this year.
Oh. Let's go. That's exciting, man. I'm so happy that baseball is coming, partially because it's going to be a great season for New York baseball fans, and partially because it's got to get freaking warmer out here. It's cold. I'm walking the dog out here, Al.
It was snowing.
I got my ski thing on above my face over here. Walking the dog with the snow hitting me in the face. My glasses are fogging up. Like, this is not good. I need a little warmth in my life. We should have went to Percy and Lucy.
No, listen, I'm one of the few Puerto Ricans that loves the cold, bro. It does not bother me. This week, though, was I work in a hotel, so I have to go inside, outside, and it's by the water. And when that wind blows, it's not pretty. It's not pretty. Let's just say, as like George Costanza happened in the one episode, shrinkage. Did we miss any other topics, or we're good?
No, I think we hit it all. I mean, I think we technically could have put the Giants and Jets on the docket here. I mean, we had something that we could have ran with the Giants, I believe. Let me throw up this graphic since Heck worked so hard on this.
Yeah.
Here. But no, I don't know if we were truly planning on going into it. We just had it ready just in case.
Yeah, we can hit this for a couple minutes. Because I was asked this question when I was in studio with Evan and Sean. Shout out to the whole crew over there. I'm grateful. Listen, I wasn't expecting to be on the air. They put me on. I had fun. Any shine is better than no shine. So Evan asked me a question. He said, "Who wins the Super Bowl first, Jets or Giants?" I said, "In what year? 2060?" So and then he said, "Who makes the playoffs first, Jets or Giants?" And I said, "The Jets make the playoffs because I think their roster is more talented than the Giant roster." And I'm gonna throw something out there. I haven't heard anybody mention this yet. I got to see the cap space, but I'm just gonna throw something out there. Everybody keeps saying, "Well, maybe the Giants, maybe the Raiders trade for Stafford." How about the Jets throw their name in the ring? They need a quarterback. If they don't believe in Jordan Travis, if they don't believe in Tyrod Taylor, and I brought up trading up a couple weeks ago on Fan. If you want to make a splash with a new coach, new GM, you have assets. Trade up. Speak to Cleveland. Trade up. Use your 7th pick and a couple first rounds and move up and go get a Shador Sanders or Cam Ward. You want your fan base to be excited? That is the best fucking way for your fan base to forget Robert Saleh, forget Aaron Rodgers, forget all the nonsense that's happened over the last 2 decades. And now you have your hopefully future franchise quarterback. What do you think about that?
That is interesting on both fronts. I'll go to the Stafford one first because I think even if you do believe in Jordan Travis, you can talk yourself into Matt Stafford for another year, right? Like there's no rush with Jordan Travis. Oh, he's got 3 years left?
He would have to sign an extension. He's not going anywhere unless he's an extension. You trade for him, you're going to have to sign to like a 3-year deal.
Yeah, that's a little bit tougher, especially if it's going to be like 2 years of guarantee or something like that. And I love Matthew Stafford. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks that I've watched in my entire lifetime. I got to be honest. He's just such fun quarterback to watch, tough as nails. I love his energy and what he brings to a team. Clearly, what he did in Los Angeles was spectacular. I'd probably stay out of that business if I'm either New York team, just because I think you have to look onward, and this will feel a little bit too Aaron Rodgers adjacent with Matthew Stafford, even though he has none of the like drama issues that Aaron Rodgers had. So I'd probably steer clear of that. On the trading up front, why the hell not? The Jets have been drafted in the top 10 and doing decently with it for years and years and years. Guess where that's got them? Nowhere. To being a good preseason team. To being a team you want to pick to make the playoffs, but they never do. You need a freaking quarterback. Move 7, move something else, go for it. If you believe in Sanders, which I do, I know you do, then
yeah,
I like it. And if the Jets do that, as a Giants fan, I'm going to sit here and say we sat here with our hand under our ass, and this team across town, or not even across town, in the same stadium just did what we should have done, nah, I don't feel good about that at all. So I would be jealous if I was a Giants fan.
You shouldn't, because here's why you shouldn't be jealous. I think Travis Hunt is going one. That's why
Oh,
I
so
think
you
it's
think they
happening.
get Cam Ward?
So I think from what I heard this week, Cam Ward, the Jets are high on Cam Ward. So it would be Ward to the if he. I said it weeks ago, a couple weeks ago, last week and the week before. Jets should trade up, and now you're hearing sports talk saying the same thing. The Jets should trade up. Jets should trade up. If they could trade up, make a splash for rookie coach, rookie GM, rookie offensive coordinator, rookie QB, franchise quarterback, Cam Ward 2, Shador Sanders 3. Now you have both quarterbacks, top 2 quarterbacks in New York. You talk about re-energizing both fan bases. That will absolutely do it.
I'm thinking WFAN would like that, Al. I'm thinking the fan would enjoy that because I think
That's
it would
what
create.
I started stirring the pot in the last couple of shows, bro. I know a little something. Haven't been in the business long, but I know a little something.
You know how to cook it up. No, for sure. No, that would be exciting as hell. I think that would be a win-win for New York football. And frankly, just based upon the numbers alone, one of those quarterbacks is failing. And history shows that it's the Jets quarterback. So let's go Giants, baby. We're making the playoffs before the Jets. Come on, get out of here.
You know, it's crazy that you say that. Even before the whole Jets are interested in Cam Ward, I talked about I think Cam Ward is not going to be that guy. I respect Louis Riddick. I think he's going to be wrong about Cam Ward. My track record, and I don't sit here watching film all day at picking quarterbacks, is pretty damn good. And I think Shador Sanders is that dude. I really think he's going to be that dude. He's been in the spotlight his whole life. His dad's been in the spotlight. He's cameras follow him everywhere. Chris Carter, go check out his interview with Kay Adams. Talked about how he was with Shador Sanders' driver during Super Bowl, and that the driver could not stop raving about him, saying that Shador Sanders, the way he carries himself, the way he's on time, how he's respectful and all this stuff, that he's going to be a superstar. And I agree with him. I think Shador Sanders, I said it last year, I'm saying it after this season, Shador Sanders is going to be that dude. If he ends up in the Giants, I'm going to have to root for him to be a bust, and I don't want to do that. So I hope.
You don't have to.
Yes, I do. I can't have the Giants. I know. I Jaden Daniels is talking about Jaden Daniels, baby. That's it. I don't want to root against Shador Sanders because I really like him. I think he's going to be sensational. So we'll see what happens with that. But you say the Giants obviously make the playoffs for the Jets. I say the Jets make for the Giants.
I mean, they're both screwed, man. Jeez, it's going to be tough for both of them to get into the playoffs, but especially now with this friggin' division for the NFC East. I mean, the Eagles aren't going anywhere, and your Commanders aren't going anywhere, so it's not going to be easy. But Shador Sanders, I'll say this last thing on this. We just dealt with Daniel Jones as Giants fans, a guy who did not have any drip or juice or aura or anything of that nature when you're talking about intangibles. Did he have toughness? He had toughness. I'll give him that. But he didn't have any juice in the locker room. He didn't have any juice in the huddle. So Shador Sanders is straight up juice. This guy is built in a lab in a way to handle this spotlight, right? We talk about, can you handle the bright lights of New York? Can you be a quarterback ready to answer the questions? This is all he's done. He's always had the lights on him. He's always been answering the questions. If there's anyone in the draft in the last 10 years to be equipped to handle the New York spotlight, it's Shador Sanders.
I'm glad you said that because I'm sick of people, and our headphones went dead. So if I sound different, I apologize.
You sound good.
I'm sick of people bashing this kid. I'm sick of people saying they don't want the Sanders circus in New York. And it's mostly Giant fans that are saying that. And I've talked about it before. We had a caller call into the station. We didn't put him on the air saying Giant fans don't want a black quarterback. I don't give a fuck if he's green. If he wins, he wins. That's all that matters to me. Clearly, you drafted a white quarterback in Daniel Jones, and he sucked.
Yeah.
Sucked. So color shouldn't matter, race shouldn't matter. It's about playing
sure.
ability. And I think Shador Sanders in New York. And by the way, and I've said this multiple shows already, I'll say it again right here. If Brian Daboll, they draft Shador Sanders and they go 5-12, you know who's going to be the coach of the Giants next season? Deion Sanders.
Deion. Now, see that side of things, I just don't know enough about. Like, I actually would be very excited, selfishly, as a fan of the sport and a fan of chaos and a fan of sports talk. That would be damn electric. I'll take it. I'll sign up for it right now if that were the case. I don't know if I'd bet on him to be a great NFL coach. I don't know if what he does at the college level translates perfectly to the NFL level. But I'd be damn excited to watch it. I'll tell you that much. And to that Giant fan who said that, he don't speak for Giant fans. That guy don't speak for us.
Yeah, we didn't put him on the air. We're not putting that call in. We said, but let me tell you this. You see how Jeff fans are excited about Aaron Glenn, former All-Pro. all jet, excited. He's played in the league before. Well, Aaron Glenn was not even close to the player that Deion Sanders was. No disrespect to Aaron Glenn. And Deion Sanders all world. You talk about lockdown corners. His generation that grew up with Revis, that grew up with Richard Sherman, that grew up with Champ Bailey. Those guys couldn't hold Deion Sanders' jockstrap when it came to covering guys. They didn't throw at all. And when they did, it was taken to the house. That guy, Deion Sanders, commands respect. The players at the college respect him. He doesn't bullshit. He doesn't sugarcoat. You respect the guy like that. He's going to tell you like it is to your face. And I don't want it to happen because, I'd have to root against Deion Sanders and his son. But I think if that was to happen for the Giants, Deion and Shador, oh my God, I'm never going to hear that in Sean's fucking fat mouth. I'm never going to be able to hear that shit if that happens. Holy shit.
The year is 2027. We're going into week 18, and the Commanders and Giants are playing to win and in for the playoffs. Deion versus Dan Quinn, Shador versus Jaden Daniels, P. Kennedy versus Al Cintron. I'll get my helmet ready.
Let's go. Put me in, coach. Put me in, coach. Let's go.
I shouldn't eat that popcorn.
Pete, before we go, anything you want to plug before we go?
Man, as always, Subway Sports Talk is right here behind my head. Subway Sports Talk on, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, also on your podcast app. Weekly episodes coming out. We're talking a lot of hoops, a lot of baseball. Just did a baseball preview earlier this week. We'll have way more baseball previews. I called this the preview of the preview, but NBA, Knicks heavy moving forward. And as we get closer to the draft, we'll do more of that. But also TIO Al Friends, 8 o'clock, Uptown Sports TV, right here, right now. If you're watching us, say these words, subscribe. Don't forget, 8 p.m. on Thursdays.
All right. And me, I'll be on Fan After Nets post game this Saturday night till 2 a.m. 888-808-1019. Wake your asses up. And next week, I make my national debut on Infinity Sports Network, formerly CBS Sports Radio. 2 to 6 a.m. Thursday, 2 to 6 a.m. Friday with people out behind the glass. And then Saturday at the Fan, back on Fan after Nets post game till 2 a.m. So more of your favorite Theo in the New York City and now national level.
Let's go, baby. I'm hyped for you. Enjoy Infinity Sports.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous about that.
What are you talking about? Oh, I guess it's next week, so you got time to figure out what's happening in the world of
sports.
Yeah,
football. I got a few pointers. They said nationally it's football heavy. And with free agency coming up, I'll dive into, I'll look at the salary cap situation where players can go. I'll kill the Cowboys so the Cowboy fans can call me up and I can talk shit to them. I'm gonna stir the pot with the Cowboy fans. I have no problem doing that. No problem. So Pete, always a pleasure, brother. I appreciate it. Hopefully we're working together on the Fan soon. I missed that. We always have a blast. The time flies by. So hopefully we get that done. And
I will see you on Saturday night. I won't be working with you, but I will see you Saturday.
What time are you working till?
Midnight.
Okay, so I'll see you. All right, yeah, I'll be there in the fourth quarter of the Nets game. I'll be there.
Let's go. I'll see you then. Look forward to it.
All right. So everyone, enjoy your weekend. Stay safe. Hug your loved ones. For Pete Kennedy, I'm Al Cintron. Wash your asses.
Wash your ass. Oh, I don't know how to play the outro. Here we go.